Okay, so you're given a temperature in degrees centigrade, and T is in hours. It's at an art museum, and you're given it right over here. All right, and it says the temperature varies. So when I say it varies, it goes up and down like this over here. And again, you could look at that and say, there's a maximum temperature, minimum temperature. It kind of fluctuates over the day, right, depending on what T is, right? So they want to know find the average over the time period from 8 to 24, right, the average temperature. So what I want to do is set up the average value function for this over here. So I'm going to say T average equals 1 over 24 minus 8. Limits of integration go from 8 to 24. And what are we integrating? 18 plus 5 cosine pi over 12 t dt. All right? So one thing I would recommend you do here is that I realize that, the cosine of pi over 12 is a little bit complicated. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a u substitution. So I'm going to say u equals pi over 12t. And du would be pi over 12 dt. So I'm going to say 12 over pi du is equal to dt. I'm going to see if I can figure that out. So I'm looking at it, and one thing at a time. I'm looking at this. What would that give you? Well, that gives you 1 over 16. Do my integrations. If t is 8, right, if t is 8, what would u be? It would be, let me write it down for you. If t is 8, we're looking at this, by the way. If t is 8, u would be equal to pi over 12 times 8. I divide through by 4. This becomes 3. This becomes 2. So what does that mean? It's going to be 2 pi over 3. All right? Now, if pi is 24, what are you going to get? Well, u then would be pi over 12, and t is 24, so you just get 2 pi. Let's keep moving through it and see what we come up with. And the next thing I get over here is, I get 18, not a big issue, and then I get 5 cosine of u. I can put this in parentheses over here. And then it's times the dt. Right, what's the dt? It's 12 over pi dt. I'm going to put that on the side, by the way. But I should say on the side, but on outside the integration. So I'm going to say 12 over pi dt. All right, let me see how I did. And I'm going to keep moving forward. And the first thing I'm going to do is just maybe simplify this. And I'm going to divide through by 4. What do you get? 3 over 4 pi. I divide it by 4. I'm going to do the integration now. What do you get? I'm sorry, I made a mistake here in putting dt down. I have to correct that. You're going to get 18u plus, plus 5 sine of u, limits of integration 2 pi over 3 to 2 pi. I have to evaluate that. That's 3 over 4 pi. And what do you get there? Let's take a look. You're going to get 18 times 2 pi, which is 36 pi. Plus, well, the sine of 2 pi is just 0, so I'm not going to write that down. I'll just leave it that way. Minus 3 over 4 pi. And now we're doing 2 pi over 3. And again, to tell you what 2 pi over 3 is, let me just make sure you understand that a lot of people look at these things and they don't recall, but let's put this down. So 180 degrees over pi, that cancels. 3 goes into 180, 60, and 2 times 60 is 120 degrees. So I'm going to kind of remind you at 120 degrees, it looks like this over here. It's got a reference of 60. This is 120, reference of 60. And like if I look at a right triangle over there, that's all I'm looking at, right triangle. This would be root 3, This would be 1, and that would be 2. I realize I got signs, by the way, but I'm saying I'm just looking at the triangle at this point. So what are you going to get over here? Let's write this down. It's going to be 18 times 2 pi over 3. And that's going to be plus 5 times the sign of that number. And what sign of that number? It's going to be root 3 over 2. All right, I got to do some arithmetic over here, and it doesn't look the easiest thing in the world to do. But the first term, just the pi's disappear. 4 goes into 36 9 times, and 3 times 9 is 27. Minus, let's take a look at this. And I got to be careful over here. This is going to be 3 over 4 pi times, I'm going to do the first term over here. And what do you get there? That would actually be, 3 goes in 18 6 times. 6 times 2 is 12. So I'm going to say 12 pi. Again, 3 goes in 18 6 times. 6 times 2 is 12. Then what do you get? Minus 3 over 4 pi times, 5 root 3s over 2. I got to do this. And what do you get over here? I'm going to say, pi's cancel. 4 goes into 12 3 times, and 3 times 3 is 9. 27 minus 9 is going to be 18. So this part's done. Let's do this part over here. It's minus, and what do you see there? It looks like you see 15. Right, 3 times 5 is 15, root 3. And what do you get in bottom? 8 pi. All right, now certainly this is an exam question. I'd write the answer down. I do want to point out the average temperature is going to be in degrees centigrade. So I'll write this over here, degrees centigrade, right? Now, certainly, I want to look at the K, and we're trying to encourage you that. And what we're trying to encourage is, make sure you got this stuff written down. And I'm kind of looking at it. I do see this over here, by the way. Now, I'm wondering, did I get the right answer, though? Right? By the way, there's some details over here you may want to look at. So the bottom line is I'm looking at it, and I see it. I see the 18, and I see the 15 root 3, 8 pi. Yeah. What else they do? They approximate it. How'd they do that? They used the calculator. Thank you.